preamble, as Laura said, I met today with Diane Gibson, City Councillor. I met with her, and I'm planning to meet with 4 other City Councillors over hopefully the next couple of weeks. And there were 3 things, 3 points, and then a recommendation that I made. First, I talked about contract compliance. Is uPublic in compliance with their contract? And in several ways they're not. They're not doing first-run programming, very much first-run programming. They're showing commercial advertising, which is strictly forbidden in their contract. And they're also showing commercial television programs. These are programs that appear on Fox News or KOB. And some of those include Who Rocks New Mexico True TV, Home Builders Gallery, and then the After Party. And some of these shows like After Party are really old as far as I know. And the other point I made in that area was that they seem to be and then they're also doing extensive for-profit advertising. And in the last couple of weeks they are cleaning up their act. So they're stopped doing the for-profit advertising, and now they're just running a nauseating stream of public service announcements.
Busters, right?
Yeah, and one of the things you need to understand, the business model for uPublic is that out of a 30-minute program, they're going to do 24 minutes of programming and 6 minutes of advertising, which is very close to what you find on commercial television. And watching these ads on a public access station is just really depressing. But that's their business model. 6 minutes out of every 30 minutes advertising. And that's, for me, that really detracts from anything that's going on. That means they have 8-minute segments approximately. 8 minutes commercial, another 8 minutes commercial, another 8 minutes commercial. It's nauseating. And the other thing that I pointed out in terms of contract compliance, they really seem to be developing their commercial business. uPublic is supposed to be a nonprofit, but they're working really hard over at their 3rd Street facilities to generate income by doing short videos for corporations, for doing advertising and that sort of thing. So that's a key part of their business strategy, to do this generate all of this income. So that was the first part. The second part is irregularities with the initial contract, and there are a lot of irregularities. And I'm not going to spend too much time on that, but there is certainly evidence that I gave the city councilor that there was inside information and kind of collusion even before the RFP for Channel 26 and 27 was presented. And one of the things that a lot of people don't understand, particularly in the government, was that the city government awarded uPublic the contract for operating the Educational Access Channel 96. And they were essentially immediately given $108,000, as Laura said, for build-out, which is not capital equipment. It's improving the facilities of this private space, which is strictly forbidden by the city. And I made that point today, and the city councilor kind of, I think that kind of struck her that had happened. And the curious thing about Channel 96, which is a couple of curious things. One is, as far as I know, as far as I remember, I do not remember a single hour of original programming, local programming that is oriented toward education. And the Cable Franchise Board knew that. In fact, they put that in their comments, that uPublic had never done anything. They'd had the contract for 10 months and hadn't done anything with it. And why the city would award them the contract to run 26 and 27 has a certain, odor?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Associated with it.
Yeah.
Okay, and the news, to me, yesterday was that I went to look at Channel 96 and look at the Alice in Wonderland movie that they've been showing ad nauseum for months, and Channel 96 is gone. I mean, it's not black, it's gone. You click on 96 and it'll take you to 97. You click down a channel, it'll take you to 95. 96 is gone. It's just disappeared. Where? I've asked Jane Yee, a city attorney, about it, and she hasn't gotten back to me. So I don't know what's going on, but uPublic has certainly abandoned that channel, which they got a contract extension, kind of a backdoor extension in the 2012 contract. So I don't know what's going on with that. And then the third area I talked to her about was the IPEG committee. They call it an internal working group, and as far as I can see, it has no legal standing. It has absolutely no authority to distribute funds, as it has been doing since, I think, 2002, or maybe even earlier. So the actions I requested today, one is we desperately need to reactivate the Cable Franchise and Hearing Board. And that's probably the first thing that needs to be done. 2 of the 3 members in 2012 resigned after the city ignored the recommendation of the Cable Franchise and Hearing Board to reappoint quote-unquote. That's the first thing. And I have volunteered to be a part of that. And Bob Ely is also over here, has agreed to apply for that position. And Rosemary Sanchez would be the third, who was the one remaining member from that committee. The second thing is we need to immediately put out a new RFP for the operation of Channel 26 and 27. The city legal department prematurely put out the RFP to take those channels away from quote-unquote, and there's no reason, since they set that precedent, that we can't request the city council to do the same thing, come out as quickly as possible. The third thing that needs to be done is there needs to be an examination of the legal standing of this IPEG group. This internal working group, as far as I can see, has no authority in the city government to do what it's been doing, making decisions about the dispersion of these PEG funds that Comcast subscribers pay each month. And the fourth thing I ask for is conduct a full unannounced physical audit of the city-owned equipment at the uPublic facilities. There's a lot of concern that the equipment, the extensive, massive amount of equipment that this IPEG committee just lavished, yeah, that's the word, lavished on uPublic. We need to make sure that that equipment is where it's supposed to be. And then the last thing, the fifth thing, is to investigate the abuse of the anti-donation clause, where the IPEG committee approved the improvement of the facilities at this private building. So those are the things I talked about, and I had a lot of stuff, but I kind of narrowed it down to just a folder kind of like this. But I basically had documentations to support every point I made. So with that lengthy preamble, I'd be happy to answer questions, comments.